when you're firing people, it's like more time. Everyone in the company knows that person's got a cut.
If you wasn't a millionaire before, you definitely are right now.
We ended up interviewing Richard Branson.
You are different.
That is the caliber of people. I'm not that clever.
Man, sometimes you just have to be part of the conversation. Like,
why is this country mash up?
70 bags up front at the age of 17.
Hella flops. But you only hear the winners, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, shoe fits, it's yours. It's your own shoe. Hot like I lie. Yeah, but I'm honest.
Yeah, that's basically. By the way, can we swear on this? Oh no. I got about beep to do.
No, we can swear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This ain't radio.
I don't know. Because you
can
got
let it
sponsors,
fly.
bro.
Nah,
You got sponsors. Man's trying to make sure they guys eat, you know.
No, we're good.
So, what, you want to do that now?
Yeah, we can definitely do that now, to be fair. Shout out to Tap In Agency. So I'm actually going to read off a bit of information just about them and what's going on and what we're talking about today.
Pay attention.
You have to pay attention, yeah? So Tap In Agency is a black-owned marketing agency passionate about connecting employers to young and diverse talent. And we know the facts of that because when we had that policeman here, Tap In were part of that, okay? So in 2022, they developed This Is Black Gen Z, which is the largest UK-wide research into Black Gen Z's views on the world of working, all right? So you in the workplace, how do you feel what you're going through? So the project was developed to pull together evidence around the real-life issues we all face in the workplace. For example, 35% of Black Gen Z are comfortable wearing their natural hair for a job interview. So they're collecting that sort of data. So Tap-In's bringing it back this year, 2023, and working with key employers to go into even more depth, all right? So we've actually looked at the survey or the questionnaire, sorry, it's about 10, 11 minutes. It's looking at your skin tone. It's looking at, like, you've never seen a questionnaire like this. Like, it's proper in depth. Like, what do you identify as? What do you feel other people identify you as, in case you feel like people look at you different? So it's very deep, right? So this is where you come in. Scan the QR code. We're going to put it somewhere there on the right. Head over to the link in the description as well. Complete the survey, about 10 minutes. You're all good. Fill out all the information correctly. We're looking for people that are Gen Z, but it doesn't matter how old you are as well. We just want to collect that information. So make sure you click the link in the description or try the QR code out. Also, there's going to be a prize draw. So there's 5 winners. 4 people will get a chance to be mentored for their career, so career mentoring. And there's going to be 1 winner that is going to get an iPad with the stylus, the pencil, and also career mentoring. So it's giving dinner with Jay-Z and take the money. Do you get what I'm saying? You can take the money and get dinner with Jay-Z. So shout out to Tap In. That's our sponsors for this episode. We're going to get into some real deep things about Gen Z and working and entrepreneur stuff and all that stuff. But make sure you go fill out that questionnaire because we need that data. We want to make sure you guys are knowing what's going on with Gen Z, especially in the workplace. Fill that out. Links in the description. Everything's there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I personally don't know your whole story, and I purposely didn't do the background research because I want you to explain how did it start, because it's Fan Bites, right? Yeah. So how did that come about? Why all of it?
Yeah, I mean, Fan Bites was an interesting journey. So I was born here in Hackney. Then I went to.
Oh, you're not far from here, then.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, but like, I lived here for like 2 months, then I went to Ghana. Because some madness. Basically, my parents, it was either go to Ghana or foster care.
Oh, right.
My parents weren't seeing eye to eye. So I went to live in Ghana with my grandma.
Okay.
So they weren't seeing eye. You got brothers and sisters?
No, just me.
Just you?
Yeah.
Nice. So who did you go and live with in Ghana?
So my grandma. So my mum's mum.
You thinking, why did
like
your
how
mum
come?
go with you?
That is the question. Like, how come it wasn't with mum or with dad? And did mum and dad stay here?
Yeah, because they lived here. Like, they lived here, and basically, it was I really, at that age, they wanted me to live in, I guess, not supportive is the wrong word, like a firm household.
Right.
So you was 2 months old?
2 months old. Wow. I went to Ghana. There's actually a picture in my house of my first ever birthday, which is just me in Ghana. Big cake. It's live though. It's live.
So whose mum was it?
So my mum's mum.
Okay.
Right, mum's side.
Yeah. And then I just stayed there for 10 years. I did my whole like primary school there. Came back here when I was 11.
Did you come back with the accent? You must
I
have.
did.
So did you? Because my younger brother came back with an accent.
Yeah,
From where?
From Ghana.
From Ghana, yeah.
But
He
it's
needed
like,
to go though. He needed to go.
he wasn't that bad, but
he wasn't bad. But in terms of like,
That's funny.
in terms of intellect, it wasn't there. it was hollow. Like, you know, cartoons where they look at someone's brain and there's like someone dancing inside.
Nah,
it, like,
he was just mischievous because I think he's hella smart, but he
100%.
just doesn't want to apply it to anything. He just wants to do his own thing in it.
Yeah.
But when he came back, I swear he had an accent for like a week and then
Snapped
it
out.
disappeared.
Yeah, so I had an accent. Actually, the worst one was like in Ghana, you know, in school, when they ask you a question, you like stand up, right? So you raise your hand and stand up. And I didn't know that's not how it worked here. So my first day of school, like first ever day. Well, actually, not even the first day. The first week, they're asking a question about like ratio and probability or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is me. And so I like raise my hand and then I stand up. Flipping heck.
everyone's looking up like,
That's
what?
a yes, sir.
Stuck it on me. Everyone stuck on me. And what was worse was the teacher, Miss Anderson. She was this Jamaican teacher. And obviously, like, she likes this sort of thing. So she's like, you know, good boy, So I'm out here being like, nah, this can't be me for the rest of the day.
Teacher's pet.
You know what I mean? Like, this can't be me.
Horrible impression.
This can't be me.
And he's got an accent too.
The worst. So yeah, man. So I did that, and then I went to a school called City of London in Bermondsey, and then that was kind of where I really got into the whole like game of business, really.
Right.
So yeah, started one at 14, which was like a tutoring company, which really just like taught me about the whole game of business and like like you can just think about things and make money from them. I was like, what the heck? Like this is magic. And then I got a scholarship to a sixth form called Christ Hospital. It's
I didn't
like,
even know you could get scholarships for sixth.
Hold on.
You can get scholarships for sixth
We
form.
need to slow down. Hold on. So at 14, you made a tutoring business.
Yeah, so at
14 is year 9, gun
9.
year 10.
So I started a service which was basically to tutor kids maths, right?
Right.
There's a whole story. I mean,
And you was the one.
okay, cool. All right, cool. So I'll tell you the story, right? So,
And who did you move back with? Mum, dad? When
my
you came
dad.
back. Okay, you came back to your
yeah,
dad's
yeah,
house.
yeah.
Alright, cool.
And he lived on the Oaken Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
The old Kent
D.O.
Road.
Ken Road. Shout out Henry. Shout out Henry. It's D.O. Ken Road. Cool.
the Oaken Road. And, so how actually that business came about was I was walking back with a friend in like year 9, and we saw this black Mercedes Benz, and he asked me, how much do you think that Benz cost? And I was like, you know, I'm 14, I don't really have some idea of what money is, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like £500.
Yeah. That's a lot of
Mad
money.
number,
Yeah.
mad number. And then he makes a bet with me. He says, I bet you wouldn't see £500 before you turn 18. And like, not even as like
Interesting friendship.
Yeah. Not
on a
even
young EMA.
as a curse, but more like, you know, kind of like that.
Get out for me.
And so I went online and I just searched like how to make money online. And, you know, so I'm 28 now. So this was, ages ago, 15 years ago, 14 years ago. And when you typed how to make money online on Google, them times there, it was just scams, just wild scams, like pay me $197, I'll teach you the secrets of success. You know, mad scams. Yeah, just like mad scams. But then I saw a quote which is like, work with what you know. And on that day, just so happened, and I don't think if it hadn't happened on that day, I would have gone into business. On that day, I had basically scored the highest in a maths exam, like a maths paper. And I was like, oh, I know maths. I'm going to tutor people maths, basically, right? And so the next day, literally I would just go to people that I knew were flopping at maths, and I'd like, and I'd be like, oh, yo, like.
He took a stroll down to bottom set.
Yeah. Yo, legit.
So how you idiots
Legit.
doing? I need some help.
Yeah. Yo, legit. And I was like, all right, yeah, cool.
You got £5. Sit down.
Mine was 15.
Yeah,
So I tried 15.
Yeah.
15. What? How these guys
Wait,
even
what
find the
is
money
this?
for
What
this?
term? For one session?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, wait, no. Start off at 10 and then wait. And then basically, I then started having people who wanted to come to me for like biology and chemistry and all that stuff, right? But like, that was not my sweet spot. So the hack I did was I'd go to the teachers and I'd say, in the last test that you did, who got the highest grades? They would tell me. Then I'll go to those people and say, do you want to make money?
Yeah, you
Wow.
My God.
That is amazing.
What is this
That
guy?
is amazing.
What?
And so that was the plan.
I should have gone to your school.
You know what I'm annoyed at? We were so busy calling each other dumb and smart. And man was out here saying, he's dumb, I can make him smart. He's smart, I can make him teach someone else.
What?
And I can have
That's
workers.
crazy.
We was thinking about cunch. We was thinking the guys that are making money are going out there to sell drugs or they already have money.
But
and
I
like
think-
the family already have it.
Yeah. But I think
Fuck,
like,
man, at 14.
but I think actually, so two things on that. So the first one is, that was when I then moved it to 15 an hour. And basically the whole play was I take 5,
And
They
then they
take
get
10.
10.
Yeah,
take 10,
Wow,
and
yeah.
I'm just a connector. And so basically in like about 6 or 7 weeks, I got up to like 65 tutors. So it was like,
65. What?
How big was this school, bruv?
no,
Wait,
but getting
what?
65 tutors is not a thing. It's like 3 people who do it at chemistry, 3 who do at biology, 3 who do at physics, 3 who do at history. You know what I mean? Like,
No, that's
Like,
not.
totals
That's
up.
not adding up to 65
Yeah.
though, bro.
But
Like,
then,
so what?
for example-
Different years?
yeah.
How
So
many
like,
people in this fucking school, bro?
bro,
Oh, you did it from year 7 up to
Yeah.
year... Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking hell!
That's amazing.
So that's how,
Should
so
have come
that's
to
how.
rob your school. Should have pulled up at your gates.
Oh my god!
These kids are rich.
He was running county lines
But they
in
weren't
school.
rich.
We didn't have £15 to
Bro,
learn.
No,
so
no.
they weren't eating. They
But we
weren't
targeted
eating.
the Asian kids.
But they weren't. Fair enough.
Yeah.
They weren't eating then.
Who?
No, I mean if that
But they
was in
must
our
have been
school,
getting it from their parents.
Oh, right,
obviously.
yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
but
that's what I'm
But you
saying.
target like the Asian kids, like the Chinese kids had money. So you just target them.
Oh my god, this is mad. This is so mad.
we just have black kids in our
What? Yeah, bro. Like we was all coming from the same place. Like my thing
Bro,
is like,
but I went to like Sylvia London Academy, bro. Like hella black people in my school. But there were also hella Asians. So like this ain't really.
nah, bro. We would not eat at lunch to eat at like after school
We'll
to go
save,
get
we'll save
chicken and
£1.50.
chips.
We were talking
Like,
about this the other
that's-
day.
Yeah, literally.
Like-
So like that's the kind of sacrifices that we had. No one had an extra £15 to be tutored.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I got a tutor for maths, but that was very much like my parents were like, we want you to be good at maths. Fucking
so
hell, I
that's
should have
how it
spoke
worked,
to
though.
you.
Yeah,
bro.
it would have worked like that.
Yeah,
Their
like,
parents would have
they
been like...
speak to their parents.
Yeah.
Their
So the
paid
parents
off.
were in on it.
Of
Yeah.
course. How would the children
Wow.
get in
Yeah.
the money?
No, but some people get mad dumb pocket money
No,
for
no,
school.
no, no, no.
Some
Okay.
people,
No, no.
like
So,
not all
like-
their parents would have known.
Yeah. So like, for example, probably after 4 weeks, my play was basically I had a fake sick note, basically, and that fake sick note would be one that would allow me to like go to the toilet and like organize matching people up.
Fucking
So I'd
hell.
get a call from a parent, be like, "Hey, my da-da-da." Then I'd be like, "Miss, I've got like a stomach problem or some shit." Then I'll go organize the play. Cool. But that business didn't last for too long, and the reason it didn't last for too long was you can probably figure out why, which is
He wasn't paying tax.
The government came into
Bro,
school and
they
shut
got
it
back
down.
money.
that's funny. Now, a tutoring business is one of those things where if you're a tutor, you're a tutee, and then once I've connected you,
I don't
there's
need
almost
You don't
no
need
reason
it.
for you to come to me.
Yeah.
So that was when I was like, oh, okay, that's
Started
interesting.
cutting the middleman.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all of a sudden, there's no subscribers.
yeah,
But everyone's getting high grades.
yeah. And then I was like, yo, this is mad. But then that's why I said it was kind of like the first thing that got me into business, where I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like you can just invent stuff and someone pay you for it. And it also taught me like you need to own the infrastructure, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like payments were happening around me. Because if you're really deep, all my businesses or like products I've done, right? Tutoring company, I was the middleman. Yeah. The company that I started and sold for like a very small amount at 17, I was a middleman. Fanbyte, I was a middleman. So like all my businesses have been like connecting people, but just owning more and more of like the flow.
Let's go back though. How good was the education in Ghana?
The education in Ghana, that's a great question. On a scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 8.
Did you appreciate it at the time, or did you only appreciate it when you came back to London?
Yeah. I only appreciated it when I got to year 8 in London, and I realized that
you learned this already.
We learned this already, bro. And I think that's a hack in that because you think you've learned it already and you know the answers, you think that you're smarter than everyone else. But you may not be smarter than everyone else.
Yeah, you're just ahead.
Yeah. So you're just ahead. So I think that is like a mental thing where if you almost tell yourself that you're smarter than everyone else, you act smarter than everyone else, and then you become smarter than everyone else.
Yeah.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely what was what happened in Ghana. What happened there? Yeah.
How good was Ghana? Did you want to come back? Because you left for 2 months, but how did you know what you was missing?
Yeah, Ghana was all you knew.
So my dad wanted me to then come back, and my parents just wanted me to come back. I think their whole thing was like they didn't want my kind of early years to be in a broken. That's the word I was looking for. Like in a kind of just shambolic, like this guy's fending for himself, all them things there. So when it then was like, okay, we've got some kind of stability in here, that was when they decided to make the move.
So did they end up patching it up between? No. Okay, so they broke up.
So I can imagine it would have been both working if you were young you.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Who's gonna actually be able to stay at home?
That actually makes sense.
Yeah. And my mom, I mean, this isn't something that I've said publicly, but like my mom has been on benefits for a while, right? So I obviously have taken care of her ever since I was like 18. I've just like taken care of her. Obviously when, Family became successful, I took care of her and all that stuff. So like she has never really like worked for quite a while, but that's like a whole different kind of of worms really. But yeah, so they wanted things to be a bit stable, and then I came through.
Makes sense.
That's very
you got back here. Were there any distractions in the UK that possibly could have knocked you off what you've grown to become?
Bro, I told you that I lived on Oak Kent Road.
Yeah.
It was like the peak of the kind of like Brixton, Peckham, Oak Kent, just madness. One of the things though that I realized was that the mandem knew I was smart. And so they actively told me not to get involved.
Yeah. That's when you know
such
you're
a
smart.
mad thing.
Yeah. We're nice guys.
Which is such a nice thing. Because if you deep it, like most of that conversation was for people who were good footballers. It was like, all right, this guy's going to make it out. So
you can see the direct route.
Yeah. But in my case, because quite a few of them also went to my old school. They were almost like, they'd seen me, they'd known I was smart. So there was almost like, all right, leave him as well, right? Which is kind of jokes. Like you see everyone going to ride out and they purposefully say, stay here, go back home, go read your books. Because they're like, they know that, all right, maybe we will make it out this way, but he'll make it out this way. Yeah. And that was actually like a very kind of heartwarming thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, but did you ever want to ride out?
Yeah, did you want to ride out? I was going to ask you.
No.
I didn't have that dog in me, man.
But you know what's funny? Part of you kind of prepared mentally that I might have to do this because maybe, I don't know, I don't want to get bullied or I don't want to stand out. I don't want to be the black sheep. So it's interesting how like there's people that you're lucky that you had someone that said that to you. Because there's many people that go out there anyway and they just end up finding themselves in trouble because no one said stay out of it. And they didn't have the mentality to be like, actually, I don't want to do this. Because I don't want it to look like I don't want to do this. Yeah. Even though you don't want to do it.
There's a very specific guy.
Yo, guys, I know you're enjoying the content, but I had to stop it. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and most importantly, subscribe, bruv. Fam, we're trying to hit 100K this year and we can't do it without you guys. So listen, take a second and hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
Guy, Mike's, and I remember everyone was, I think, gonna ride out to like Yellow Brick in Peckham, and he literally turned to me and was like, "This ain't for you, bro." And I said, you're right. I was like, you're right. You're right, boy.
Because I was scared, man. I was scared.
Mike has the vision.
Yeah, Mike has the vision, you know.
Did you have a bike growing up?
Yeah.
Did anyone ever steal it?
Yeah, twice. But on both occasions, I got it back.
Yeah. Nice. Never
Swear.
back, boy. You lot had bikes.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
stolen
I had
once.
mine stolen, yeah.
Mine,
No, mine stolen a few times, but I got it back a couple times. One time.
He said a few times, you don't have to bike just
No,
one.
but it wasn't even
Mine
like
just went for him.
stolen. Like, I call it borrowed because it wasn't like by a op. Do you know what I mean? I know the person
the
who stole my
person,
bike.
yeah.
Like,
Extended.
the neighborhood
Lending.
bully. What bike did you have?
I don't know, just
Is it
like
not
some
the
BMX
know
or
which
something.
bike you had?
BMX. Yeah, man had a suspension thing, Ridgeback.
You had a Ridgeback.
You stole that. You didn't buy no Ridgeback.
You
You stole
call
that.
him my mum poor. You call him my mum poor.
No, I didn't call your mum
So
poor.
why would I steal
You don't.
it?
Not only poor people steal.
Yeah.
Why can't my mum have bought me the
I
bike?
didn't say that your mum didn't buy you.
You said
the
I
bike.
stole it.
Yeah, you
So
did.
you're
A Ridgeback.
What's the issue here?
Or it was stolen and you bought it with your mum's money.
Stolen by Evans.
You bought a bike from Evans.
What's the issue
No,
over
I've
here?
had-
I'm just shocked.
I had a bike from Evans.
I got it
Why?
for Christmas.
Yeah, it was Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, wait, my birthday. Yeah. I had a bike from
Where
Evans.
did you get this from?
The corner of the road, bro. I was
you stole
fixing
it?
bikes.
So he
no,
stole it.
Yeah.
I didn't steal it. It wasn't. I used to fix bikes.
Have you got a receipt, bruv?
For what? Fix bikes. He's lying
Fam,
again.
have you never got a bike and put wheels on it? You've never had
So you stole the bike?
thing? No, I stole the thing. if you want to say,
where did you get
no,
the
I didn't
wheels from?
steal
Where
it.
did
It
you
was
get the
from the
wheels- Where'd you
bin.
get the wheels from?
You get it from everywhere.
Man said he's living off the
That
land.
wants me to snitch. That wants me to snitch.
He's living off
There's
the
wheels
land.
everywhere, man.
Man said from everywhere.
Nah,
So,
but obviously there's a few people on ends that used to get bikes.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was stolen.
I don't know. I ain't snitching, right?
All I'm saying is, I'm not saying that mum didn't have the money, but a Ridgeback, it was fucking expensive.
I remember mine
From
was
first hand
mine
as well.
Mine was black and orange. Business
Wow.
was green and black, and Alan had a small red and yellow one, and I mashed that one up. Cause basically, we had bikes before that, and we had a shed, but we never finished putting on the shed doors. Somehow, someone clocked it. Shed was facing the house, so from the outside of the garden, you couldn't see that it didn't have shed doors. But they popped in there, stole the bikes in the morning. Bikes were gone.
Damn.
So then we got new bikes for Christmas, riding it. You know, like your mum says, don't let no one borrow your bike. Guys pulled out. Let me have a ride, but mum said no one can borrow my bike. We're staying strong. We're
Yeah.
like 4 asks in now.
It's getting difficult.
Yeah, it's
they might
getting
stop
tough.
asking.
Yeah,
they
like,
might just take
All
it.
holding the handlebars from the front. It's like, bro, my mum said no one can ride this bike. It's peak.
It's P.
It's like, this bike's about to be stolen. So he said, I'm just going to ride it up there and come back.
Yeah.
We've cracked. I said, cool. Him and his brother rode the bikes. They've gone that way. He said he's going to go that way and come back. They've
That's
gone that way.
crazy.
They've come back like 2 hours later saying they got robbed.
Yeah.
He said, by who? He's like, some Peckham boys. I said,
Oh,
come on, man.
God,
What do you mean Peckham
man.
boys robbed you, man?
So
And
they
that's
were-
the thing. You can't even go home. Man's just waiting outside for my bike to come
Like-
back.
Bro,
Do you know how mad that is?
we've actually all been there. Just borrow
Fam.
the bike and just hope that it
And the
comes
scooter.
back.
Oh my God, I remember I had a scooter at
Wait, you
one
had a
point.
scooter?
Yeah, my brethren decided that he wanted to ride it. I was like, all right, cool, just ride it round once. And he wouldn't get it back to me. So I'm now chasing him crying, like, I need my scooter back. Like, my mum's gonna, I'm gonna be in trouble.
I can't come
Please,
home without
man.
this, bro.
Like, this cost them £400. Like,
You
I'm
know what's
coming home
funny?
without it. I'm never
You're-
getting them back again.
You're afraid, yeah, or part of you is afraid that if someone does rob this, yeah, your mum's gonna have questions for you, and then she might go outside and look for that person, and that's gonna be embarrassing because that person's gonna say something like, "Oh, fuck off," and then now
that's your mum, boy.
You're the one that's known as the guy that told your mum.
Your mum got played.
Yeah, your mum got mugged up. You don't want your parents to ever be involved and get embarrassed.
Never.
I think it's so mad that everyone's bike just got stolen, bro. Because I remember I had one bike. I had two. All right, cool. One bike, I think I borrowed it, and again, don't know what happened. Someone's been robbed or something's happened. And then the second bike that I actually had, this was like secondary school. Bike was cold. I think this one was from Evans as well. Silver and yellow, like it was cold. And one of my brethren, people would borrow it because I had to go in early. I was a 6 o'clock guy. So obviously, man, I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, I know you're going in, but don't take the bike. Like, let us have the bike. And obviously, this happened a few times, but it was my brethren's. Like, so then they would take it, cool, have it, and they'll bring it back like maybe like 9 o'clock or something like that. And then that was cool. That was the way it was functioning. And then one day, some madness kicked off. There was a beef that kicked off in Ends, and my bike was there. And somebody actually passed away. Like, something actually happened. Someone was stabbed, and then it was like, everyone's obviously ran off. My bike's somewhere. Lord knows what territory this bike is on, but it's gone. And I remember I was just chasing up like, oh, do you know where the bike is? Do you know? But man were like, bro, the guy died, bro. The bike is gone. We don't know who has it. And that was it. So it's like, my bike is a part of that story. Lord knows who had it that day. But it's mad how everybody's had their bike stolen.
It's a part of life, man. Like,
rite of passage.
It's like, when we grow up, it's like,
back? Yeah, nice. Sorry.
Yeah,
rite of passage, man.
Just got stolen, bro.
Them things is literally £400-500 and
Bro.
yeah, but I didn't know that for a time because you just, like I said, those bikes and tires is just there. Like,
yeah. Especially quick release days. You know, when you got the, oh my god.
Yeah, bro.
Quick
the quick
release
release to
days.
take the tire off.
I'll see man in Ends carrying tires like. I remember my brother said
that's when you had to start chaining. You know, you used to just chain your bike to the railing at the frame.
Just the frame, yeah.
You had to chain it by the wheel now.
Bro.
Yeah.
Man would try quick release that. My brother said he came out from work one day. His bike had no tires. He said he just stood there because he didn't want anyone to know.
That's his bike.
So he just walked past it and just stood at the top of the road. It's like bikes were stolen. Even there was one time my brother's bike got stolen. It got stolen outside the block. And this is what it is. It's like we're all just living on top of each other.
Yeah.
You don't even know who you're robbing. You've just seen a new bike and you just robbed it, right? So he's just come back from lunch. Poor man.
You're just robbing your mate.
Just robbing, you don't even know. He's just come back from lunch and he's come, I don't know where he was working, but either way, he cycled back home, came for lunch and came out. And he just left the bike out there. He's just thinking, whatever, let me just leave it here. I don't know why he did that.
That's because we were comfortable.
We were
That's
so
the same
comfortable.
situation
You just
with
leave
me.
the bike out. It's like you just think no one's going to touch it. Came downstairs, bike is missing. It's just gone. No idea where it's gone. He just said, oh, my bike got robbed. And, that was it. And then randomly, I was in your house. And obviously, all Stitches and them live next door, right?
Yeah.
So one day I come out of the house, I'm going upstairs to go get a sandwich. I looked and see my brother's bike in our own block. But it's not him. Like, my brother's bike is there. Like, I actually had to look and I was like, I swear that's my brother's bike, bro. One day I was like, that is my brother's bike. I didn't know the day. I just rolled it upstairs. Went up there, I said, you'll never believe what I got. He's like, you're lying. I said, bro, it was downstairs and all them lot that must have taken it. He's like, I swear down. But it was just a vibe, but no one knew whose bike it was. It was just stolen.
Yeah,
it was
it's just
it
a
was just
bike.
an opportunity.
Yeah.
But it's mad how bikes were just taken, like whether on ends or off ends, they were just taken. You don't know, and maybe you might find out later. It's this person's. I'll give it back.
Riding bikes with the man them was too cold.
So
Just going
sick.
from one end to the next on a bike real quick.
There was just a point everyone had a bike. You needed a bike to roll. Like,
Cold.
oh my
And then
god.
you used to steal dust caps off cars and that.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah,
I used to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know who was buying dust caps for their cars, but some of them had sick
Yeah,
dust
some
caps.
people
Yeah,
had
like
dice,
skulls,
The skulls, all of that. I was
Feel
thinking,
that.
raw, like people are
Feel that.
investing in
And I
dust
stole that
caps.
from my local car park.
Yeah. didn't know who it
They
was.
could, like, the
but it was
parents could
somebody
literally
there.
look out their window and see kids stealing their dust caps. It's crazy. It's like, for our bikes, we're taking from your car to put on our bikes. It's this is crazy. We was reckless with it.
When I think about it, seeing everyone with those goal caps, I genuinely thought someone bought them.
Nah, people. Well,
But they were death row. But they were
yeah.
death row taking. Like most things you saw when someone had something new, someone took it from someone else, bro.
We should steal it. Let's do an introduction.
Yeah,
and dive back into the story
indeed.
So they know who we're talking to.
For sure. 90s Baby Show. My name is Temi Alchemy.
I'm Fred Santana.
Got a shooter in the house.
Yeah.
He might have a stolen bike when he comes to see you. Might have stole them tires too. Be careful. He got a car now, so he might have just upgraded what he steals. Nigga overseas, underseas, or God and evil, or even God. It's my nigga VP in the cut. That's a scary side.
Yo.
And we got the big legend, the entrepreneur.
Big.
Big entrepreneur. Mr. Timothy Armoo. Is it Armoo or Armoo?
The first one.
Armoo, right, perfect.
Armoo.
That means I've always been pronouncing it correct. I
Yes.
love that. Yeah, please.
Tim Armoo,
I'm
yes.
parched.
Bro, yeah,
All
so
right, guys, I'm sure you've already seen we putting on a live show on the 9th of April, Clapham Grand. Be there. Doors will open at 6 p.m. Make sure you are there on time. It is seated. Everyone will have a seat. It's lovely. You are going to be catered to, and you're going to have a great time, all right? Make sure you're there on time. Get your tickets now.
Bro, yeah, so we were getting on to. So you said you had another business before Fanbacks.
Yeah, so
What
I
was that?
started.
You said you were 17, you sold it.
Yeah, so that was a company called Entrepreneur Express. That was just like a online business publication. So think like Business Insider, entrepreneur.com. Just all we did was like interview and write stuff about business. And there were two sick things. I mean, one, we ended up interviewing Richard Branson.
That's crazy.
That was mad.
Is he worth the
And
money
this
that he
is-
says he is?
You're dumb.
That was good.
But you're 16 at this time, or how old
So
are you?
I'm 17 then.
You're 17.
Yeah. But the hack that I use, like, to get to see Branson is one of those things where it was just like so wild. Basically, some guy was hosting this conference, like Business Forward, something. And basically, I wanted to go there because I saw Branson, James Caan, and Alan Sugar were all speaking there. And I was like, oh, okay. How do I get there to interview these guys? I'm not a press guy. I don't have that. So then I emailed the guy and I say, yo, well, not yo, hello. And then I'm like, if I come the day before and basically lay out all the chairs of the entire conference, would you give me the opportunity to then go backstage?
Fucking hell,
Bro,
man.
you are different.
You know when you look at someone, you're like, he fucking won again. Fucking won again. He's smarter than me again.
Bro.
No, but that's the way that and you know, because basically I was like, there has to be a world in which I'm able to interview these guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but at least I know that like there is one decision maker, i.e. the guy who owns a conference, Michelle. And I was like, you know, if I can convince him that I can do something to help him, you know. So I played on the whole, you know, hey, I'm a 17-year-old. I've got this business here. I really want to interview these guys. And I was like, all right, this guy cares about money or time, right?
Yeah.
I can't make him money because this guy's charging $5,000 to come and just sit in the seat to hear these guys talk. So the one thing I can do is give him more time. And so I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come in, lay out the chairs, hit me up. He said, yeah, sure, this sounds fun. And then I just, the day before, it was a Wednesday. I arrived there around 2 p.m. and
You skipped college?
and for like 5 hours, I was just laying out the chairs. But I was happy laying out those chairs. Because I knew the next day,
He said, this
I'm
is
going to be seeing
Richard's chair.
Branson.
This is Sugar's chair.
So we went, backstage. That was cool. Yeah. So basically, that was the business, and I was trying to drive traffic to the business. I was trying all sorts, like, you know, Google Ads, SEO, all the stuff that you do, and I was like, nah, this is not slapping. But what I then stumbled across, because again, this was like 10 years ago. This was when like Facebook pages and all these like viral Facebook accounts were a thing. So then what I started to do was to build really big Facebook accounts and around like inspiration and motivation and all that stuff. Then I'll take articles from the blog and I'd put them in the Facebook pages and then that would drive people back to the site. And that was basically the way that I just like grew it. And then as the story goes, basically within about 11 months, I got this email from this company. They were like, hey, we're interested in partnering up. And, you know, I'm 17 and by that time I'm at boarding school. So
you went boarding school?
Yeah. So for sixth form, I got a scholarship to a boarding school.
Oh, right. Okay.
That was intentional because I didn't want to live in Old Kent anymore. And part of me was like, because, you know, I was like 16 then, and I was like, I can feel mentally me being a bit like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A bit aggy. I was like, I actually need to change my
environment,
like physical environment. So that's why I chose to go to a boarding school rather than a day school.
That amount of self-awareness at 16 is...
That's crazy.
But I think that for that, man, like a lot of it came to, I think someone said this about me earlier. They said like, I had this whole feeling of if someone else has done it, why couldn't I? You know what I mean? There was this blog, I think it's shut down now. It was called like retire@21.com.
Right.
And I used to read that. Oh, man. Like every day I would just read the new articles because I was like, are you telling me that people are able to retire at 21? Like,
what age were you when you was reading this?
I was like 15, 16, 17. And I was like, if they're able to do that, like there is nothing different from, I was like, part of me just felt like, you know.
We was playing San Andreas, bro. We was playing fucking San Andreas for sure.
But I just had that sort of thing. Yeah, and so yeah, basically got that email. They were like, yo, can we partner up? I was like, yeah, sounds interesting. They said, can you send over your kind of like stats, audiences and all that stuff? And me just being dumb, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. You know, right now, if someone had told me, yo, let's get on a call, but before that call, can you send over your stats? I'll be like, no. Like,
yeah.
Why'd I do that, right? That's just stupid. Anyway, so we get on the call, Skype call, and then the guy's like, hey, so we've been looking over your stats. Rather than kind of partnering up, we'd like to just buy your site. And then that was the first one where I was like, oh, like this is mad. And so the company was called Horizon Media. They're still called Horizon Media. Before they were like a media business. Now they basically turned into like a marketing agency. And their whole thing was they wanted to buy a lot of these like niche blogs and basically make money by selling ads on top of them.
Yeah.
That was basically the business model. Because if you remember, like 10 years ago, the way that people really made money on the web was ads. So they'll build niche publications like gardeningworld.com.
They buy
it. Smash it with ads.
The ads is crazy.
Exactly, right? So they wanted to do that. And I was like, wow, you know, I was just there. It was like Friday, 2 a.m. I was wearing my Man United shorts and I was just like, wow, like, this is it. So they offered, deal structure was very simple. It was 70K first payment and then 40K over the next year. So the full payment was like 110 grand. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, like I want to dedicate the rest of my life to doing this sort of shit.
Of course.
Right. Retired at
fucking
21.
70 bags up front at the age of 17.
So, and for this like 11 months of work. And I remember just
Word.
thinking
Yeah,
to
you
myself,
ain't even been doing it for long.
Yeah. What? And I do remember thinking like, this is like magic, bro. Like man just thinks about something and then I put it out there, I hustle, and then someone pays me for it. I was like, nah, this is magic. Like,
it's crazy.
Because beforehand, man was thinking about being like everything, like a journalist, a behavioral psychologist. Like I wanted to do things that were intellectual. Until that. And then I was like, For example, I went to boarding school and everyone there was mad smart. Like one guy, Luke Stevens. Luke was 15 and had got 100% in further maths A-level at 15.
What?
Already had a place in Cambridge. And I was like, that is the caliber of people. I'm not that clever.
Maths A level.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
And Luke was not an outlier. That's mad. Luke was the norm.
The norm.
But you see, here's the issue. Here's the issue. There's these types of people grabbing A at these type of maths things, going Cambridge, and these are the same people that eventually jump into Parliament and handle our country's finance and economics. Why is this country mash up?
Word. Where's Luke Stevens now? Is he mashing up the country?
Luke is currently a software engineer. So
okay, all right, cool. So he's taking our data.
I know, man. Like, the reason why things are kind of messed up now is because there's too many people with too many different incentives. That's it. Like, that's just it. Whether it's in politics or in business or in sport, like, the moment that you have, even in, football, when people are talking about the whole, like, Super League thing, I was like, well, that's just dumb. Like, just don't do this. But you had a bunch of people who had their own incentives, and some other people had their own incentives, and then the whole thing just mashed up.
It's not dumb, though. It's going to happen. And
the Super League?
Yeah, and it needs to happen because football's dying.
Oh, that's fair.
Which the older generations don't want to accept, that the kids aren't watching football like they used to when they was kids. They are at home sporting.
That is fair.
To make sure the kids keep watching this, you have to put on the biggest games.
They have
because
to put
you
on the
already
biggest
see
games.
channels like SE Dons and BAYTs getting more views than Burley versus
crazy. They did it with cricket. Because Test cricket was all 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Anyone got time for that? Then they were like, 2020 cricket, let's just get this over and done with. As much over as you can get in one day. It's a piss up. Have you been to 2020 cricket?
It's lit.
Oh my God, it's lit.
It's lit.
One
and they
day-
pass around the snake.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
One day, I remember watching, like, the whole, like, 3-day cricket thing. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Fucking boring,
It's
bro.
mad.
Like, it's the same
Like,
game.
you just sitting there and just seeing the same play, the same.
And
I
they
was
go
like,
in
nah.
for tea.
And then they go for tea.
Oh my God, do you know what? That's a throwback. Obviously, we went to Archbishop Tennyson's, yeah? You know Tennyson's, right?
Yeah.
Old Kent Road, right? So, Archbishop Tennyson's, remember when the cricket players used to come and park in the playground? They were shotting the
Parking spaces.
What? For
to
real?
cricket players.
Bro, we used to come in sometimes and you just see a couple Range Rovers, couple
Jags,
Porsches,
all of
Jags,
that.
all of
That's
that just
incredible.
in the playground.
That's incredible.
And then you're just like, so what? We can't play. Man can't play. And they're like, you have to play around the back. Like, I'm thinking, how much were they shot in that space for?
That's interesting.
And they
That's
actually said,
incredible.
you guys cannot play at lunchtime, like, because of the cars. It was mad. Like, that business model was crazy. They just shot the space.
Making peas.
Oh my God, bro.
So you sold that. So do you think, looking back, you was taken advantage of in terms of the valuation?
No,
How
no,
much
no,
you sold
no,
it for? You thought
No.
in terms of the numbers that website was doing, that was and that website's still around.
No, they folded it because
Oh.
this was 10 years ago, man. Like, so their whole business was to turn it into like, like their
Place where you can make
niche
ads,
publication, right? They had a food one, they had a gardening one, they had like loads of these. And then it basically turned out that whole business of just making money directly from ads on your site does not work. So that's why they then basically pivoted to then being just like a marketing agency.
Yeah.
But also, like, this is gonna sound wild, right? But like having now like built an agency business, etc., and then whatever, like 110 grand is like the size of a mid-sized campaign. So
True.
to
Yeah,
them,
that's true.
it's like, oh yeah, like cool, that's
Yeah,
nice,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And
We can juice it
Horizon
with
is
ads
huge
as well.
now. Like Horizon is something mad, like 600 people, like huge business. So yeah, they thought that. I mean, that to them was just a rounding error, to be honest. So
Man said, you sometimes just have to be part of the conversation. Like, they're going to fold this business at some point. Can I be in there before?
It folds.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like to just be in that is just, bro, like, okay, you're living in Ends. You're living Old Kent Road.
yeah.
Are you realizing how different you are as you're in there? Before you were 16, before you said, "Oh, right, like I'm feeling myself. Maybe I want to ride out tonight." Like, you know what I'm saying? Before you're feeling that sense, are you realizing I'm different? Like, I'm special.
Yeah. So that is actually, it's so funny. You should use that phrase, I'm special, because
That was your tag.
Man said specials with a Z.
That's funny. Specials, young specials. Nah, because that's funny.
If it was then, you say special. Say
Yeah,
special.
young special.
Young special.
Nah, because I always did think there was like something a bit different. Maybe part of it was also I felt as if like being an only child, like having grown up in Ghana, you know, like there were all these things that I told myself. And to be honest, my mom always told me I was special. Like she always told me this. Like she also kind of went a bit OTT, be like, "You are the greatest thing the world has ever seen." It's like, all right, Mom, like chill out a bit, right? But like she always told me I was special. And even now that I think about it, maybe that just being like drummed up in me so many times made me do that sort of thing. There's a friend of mine who basically has this thing. He says like successful people have a superiority complex.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a good way of kind of thinking about it, which is, well, like, I think with enough effort, I can basically like
Be the best at this.
this
Be
thing.
better than anybody else.
Exactly. So that was probably part of it, and definitely kind of like family upbringing of like, you are different, you are special, you are different, you're special. Probably
Yeah.
came to it. Yeah.
What do you think of the term arrogance?
What I think of it?
In association with yourself as well.
Oh, wow. I think, I don't know, actually. That's a great question. I think if you don't have things to back it up, then I think that's where it goes into arrogance. I think, and also if you basically say like, if basically you going up means that you have to put someone down, that's where I think you kind of like go into the world of arrogance. I don't think I've ever been described as that. I think people see me as like very confident, but I'm also confident in like a subset of things that I'm good at. You know what I mean? Like there are a lot of things I'm not good at, and I would just be like, yeah, I'm whack at this. Like someone else do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in things that I'm good at, like things around building companies, sales, marketing, public speaking, copywriting, things like that, I'm like, here is the folder which shows that I'm sick at this. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
But then kind of going in with just some kind of like supreme air of, you know, I'm that guy at everything. That's not something that I have.
Yeah.
I have a friend who a lot of people call arrogant. And the reason why they call him arrogant is because he approaches everything, even things he's never even seen before. He approaches it with an air of like, yeah, man, easy. Right?
I do like that. I do like that.
And to be honest, like sometimes I kind of see that and I go, do you know what? Like that kind of level of bravado is something that is quite cool.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, going back to your point about self-awareness, I think I'm self-aware enough to know the games I can easily win and then games that I can't win.
Yeah.
And the games that I can't win, I just go, oh, well, that's just not a game I can win, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's interesting is just as you were saying that, I've realized arrogance is probably something that is, I wouldn't say it's a positive thing, but it's a way that people describe you, but you would never describe yourself. I've never heard anybody
As in,
say
like me or you? Or just
no,
like
just
you
in
as an
general. Just in
individual?
general.
Okay,
You're an arrogant arsehole.
Yeah.
Like, nah, it's like it's a way people describe you, but you wouldn't. No one ever says I'm arrogant. People describe someone else as arrogant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
That
if
is
you
true.
ask that
That is
person,
true. That is true.
what do they think of themselves? They'll say I'm confident.
Yeah.
So
that is
really
true,
and
that is true.
truly,
No, they always say there's a thin line between
There's a
confidence
thin
and
line,
arrogance.
yeah, but
it
nobody-
depends on the position you are sitting in.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for me, I'm just confident at this.
Yeah.
But if you are not confident at what I'm doing, and I'm just kind of doing it and just then you're seeing it like I've got a bravado about it. No, this is just what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Most of my confidence comes from not seeing anyone as too different to me. And so I go, well, if they've done it, surely I can do it.
Yeah.
And that kind of sense of just, I guess, I just like machismo to be like, well, this should be straightforward because someone else has done it.
yeah.
So just do it. That I think can be seen in a bit of a different way. So who knows? Who knows, my friend?
Very, very interesting. Like just the way your mind would work. Like I was thinking, rah, like people out there just playing GTA. People like serious, like I always say that as a joke to people. Like if someone said, not a joke, but I say it like, oh, as I'm older and someone saying, oh, what should I do? I'll be like, bro, you got Google right there. Google how to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
But when I was young enough, I could have done that.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
And
I definitely did.
You did? You Googled how to be a millionaire?
Yeah, nothing came up
Scams.
that I was...
Scams, so people are trying to...
And there was nothing that I was willing to do as well. Like for example, when Gary V came out and he was like, yeah, man, just go somewhere, buy shit for cheap, and then sell it on eBay. Remember, we started an eBay business.
Yeah.
Bro, like, when you're not about it, you're just like, this is long, man. Go and post office.
I think that a big thing of that is like, how can you almost normalize success around you so it doesn't seem like you're putting in a lot of effort? Like, so, for example, one hack that I did was, even though I lived, Oak End, 4th floor, council estate, I would go to like very fancy places and work from there just so I could almost like normalize money conversations, right?
Yeah.
So, Tuesdays I'd take my stuff, I'd go to Mayfair, I'd stay at like Claridge's in like the area just before you have to actually go in. The little foyer, and I'm waiting for someone. All right, cool. And I've got my red like Toshiba laptop. I'm just like there, there, and like I'm just seeing these guys in suits. I'm seeing these guys like talk about deals. I'm like, fuck, like this is my world, right? And then I'll go back to Oak End Road. But I think kind of like normalizing that for me was quite a good kind of mental trick.
Yeah. That's cold. I used to do something similar, but I used to go to Porsche and go and sit in it and like imagine myself in it. And then there was one day I was like, I'm gonna bring my Amazon Kindle and I'm gonna sit in this Porsche and read in it. I was in that Porsche for time innit? Lady
Read
kept
novels.
on walking past like, you alright? I said, I'm good. I'll be here in your ship ends, man. But that's like cold. Again, like after a while I was like, bro, this is long, man. I'm not buying the car right now. Can't be bothered to come up here. Yeah. So it's like there's also that sense of there's you being smart, but there's also that sense of just that resilience. To keep on going even when it's tough, because you're talking about the things that worked. Yeah. But failed businesses, bro. Bad ideas, lost so money, L's.
There was a whole thing I did where I basically had this rule, which was if it's worked somewhere else, it can work here. So, right. So I'd start up a business called Giver, which was like a social enterprise. No, actually, no, it wasn't. It was like a site where you could make your own T-shirts and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there's a ton of businesses now doing that. It's like Teespring, these companies, right? Yeah. I saw that in the US and I was like, oh, we about to run it up here, right? Like, we about to run it up. The thing failed within about 2-3 months because like I just didn't really know what I was doing. I was like, it's work here. I'm putting, we probably put in like 10-15 grand into that. I mean, after I sold Entrepreneur Express, I lost probably about 40 grand in spread betting because I was like, oh yeah, let me try this thing. There's all these things where
spread betting, okay.
And I was just like, well, that's just dumb, I was
this
like,
has made money off that.
There you go, you're smarter than me, right? Or like losing 15 grand on that kind of T-shirt thing. Even before Fanbuys, there was this other idea that we tried, which we saw in the US, and called Prizeo, and basically it's like a charity auction, some business. We try that. We try to hit up celebrities and singers to be a part of it. Note takers. Like we were trying to get on people like Adele, and we'd email like info@adele.com. It's like it's like stupid shit like that, right? So like hella flops. Hella flops. But you only hear the winners,
Yeah, because he was just like, when I was 17, I did it. In between that, they has to, like, you can't have just got it right all that time. So then, like, if we just take, I've told the story in regards to like how we met at
that was
the event
crazy
with
story.
That's crazy, right?
That's
but
so
I'll tell it
crazy.
just very briefly to the podcasters. So I was working in House of Fraser, and then this was at a moment in time where I was like, I need to get out of here, but I don't know how. I'm fresh out of uni. Good at talking to people and all this kind of stuff. So they gave me the job on, this guy's mad sociable. Let's give him this job. So I've got the job.
And then I'm like this glorified title of the head of brand. Like, but what the fuck was that? Do you get what I'm saying? I was just working behind the till, innit? And I was the only person there. So they made me the head of it.
Head of brand.
Yeah, bro. And then I was just like, nah, I need to get out of it. And Victoria's kind of like a city sort of area where it's like a whole load of people working in different head offices around there. There's banking, all that kind of stuff. And I'm always talking to people at the till like, oh, what do you do? Okay, you're from, all right, cool, I study this. All right, let me get your email. I'll just be printing blank paper from the till and writing down emails. I had all the time, I'd come home with like 7 emails in my pocket, man. Like, and I'll be like, all right, cool, when am I going to use this? This is going to be useful. And then one day, Tim walks in. I can't remember what you was buying, but again, you've just come in and you bought something. I was just talking to you. I was like, yeah, I've got this app idea or something. No, you said you got an app or something like that.
like social media.
Yeah. So I'm like, bro, I've got this app idea. And he was like, yeah, so what is it? And obviously I'm thinking, shit, I wasn't ready for the pitch. The elevator pitch, innit? I wasn't ready for anyone to actually ask me, what is it? So I'm there like, yeah, it's this app about like dreaming and setting goals, da, da, da. And he was like, right, okay. Have you figured out how to monetize it? I was like, what? This is a fucking dream, bro. What are you talking about monetize? Like, what is that even? I'd never heard that term before in my life, bro. I was like, monetize. I understood what it meant as soon as you said it, but I was like, I've never heard anyone say this. And he was like, cool, work out how to monetize it. And just drop me an email. Gave me an email. So I'm there thinking, this guy's not getting an email for time because I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with him. But I remembered just the way you approached the way I told you what was about. I was like, no one's ever just said, okay, so how'd you get the money? Because that's all I'm here for. I was like, this guy is straightforward. And then I'm trying to think, did I drop you an email or something like that? Maybe I didn't even drop you an email because I was like,
I don't think you did.
Yeah, because I didn't have nothing to say. I had nothing to say.
I told you everything on the shop floor. That was it. I was out.
Yeah, but I'd always been like, I remembered you. And again, you're very like, what's the word? Like, you've got very distinct features. Like, it's very high top, beard. It's the same thing. It just might have been like lower hair, lower beard, but the same thing. And then I just remember seeing a few things on LinkedIn and seeing, I was like, all right, Tim, like, cool, we're rooting for him. Like, yeah, this sick fan bites. I remember you was talking about it. You explained I don't even know if you'd started fan bites or, you hadn't. You was telling me you're going to. So then, I remember like a few years later, so I'm seeing you around. I'm thinking, oh, sick, seeing fan bites. And then I just remember this video coming up about you were just with your brethren and then your accountant's talking to you. I'm like, wait, what are they about to say? And I remember the accountant said, yeah, it's all gone through. Said, if you wasn't a millionaire before, you definitely are right now. I said, what? I know that nigga. Where's my fucking piece of paper, bro? I'm going to email him. Hey, I found out how to monetize it. There's this thing called the 90s Baby Show. I was like, this guy fucking smashed it. So obviously, you know, like just seeing that, I was like, right, it's mad to see it come full circle that you did the fan bites, where I've met you and how that's followed through. And I'm like, raw, it's sick to see that.
Thank you.
I just saw it at ideation.
Yeah.
And then to see it come like, you know, years later is just crazy. Like it's actually sick. But there's a whole journey of building a business. Yeah. And in order to build a business, you would have had to have hired.
Yeah.
And again, shout out to Tappin who's sponsored, like Black people, Gen Z within the workplace, that's a whole thing. You've had to hire people. So what was your approach to building a team?
Bruh.
And what did you look for?
Yeah. I've had to hire people, fire people. So when we sold the company, it was, Fanbites had 75 people, right? So
that's a lot of people, bro.
Yeah. And I had fired probably 75 people. I was.
Oh, you have to pay all these people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember the day that our burn rate, i.e., like how much we were spending on people. I remember the day that my co-founder told me that it'd gone past. Well, I remember the day that he told me it'd gone past 50 grand, and I was like, oh.
As in per month?
Yeah, per month.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's a lot, but okay, fine. Then I remember the day he told me it'd gone past 100 grand, and I was like, wait. So as in, we have to make money every month in order to do that.
We ain't just getting
And then I remember
So
when
every month you had to make 100K
Minimum.
yeah, as in to like break even. Right?
Yeah.
And then I remember when he told me that it passed like 250 grand. I was like, so you're telling me
That's
that the people in the company and our costs and everything are $250,000. And I just was like, this is wild. And what's interesting about kind of growing a business is like you get kind of normalized to it as you get bigger, right?
Yeah.
But even like $250,000
That's crazy,
a
bro.
month on just people and whatever is like Jesus Christ. But anyway, so yeah, in terms of people, so in my first probably like 2 years, right? Because Fanbytes was like a 5.5 year journey. So we started 2017, sold it in 2022. In my first 2-3 years, I was just like shocking at hiring. When I say shocking, I was like abysmal. Like, and there were a couple of reasons for it. The first one was I hired too many young people. So like, but also that's because that was the only thing that I could afford. But basically, I hired too many people for like their passion. And I didn't really hire them for like skills. So I hired people who cared a lot about, oh yeah, like the influencer market and social media and all that stuff, but not like people who could do well in, you know, the sales front or campaigns team or all that stuff, right? So that was a big problem. And then my second problem was I tried too much to be the superhero, right? Here's the thing, like when you even read our stories, even, you know, Fanbyte story, or you read about any like famous business, you only read about like the individual, right? But you forget that like there's a
whole
batch of
team
people,
behind.
right? People go, oh, Bill Gates did this. It's like, yeah, but also bare people, you know? Right? And I think like being young, I had kind of been like, oh, okay, well, you know, like the superstar of the show. So even when we got to like 10 or 15 people, I was still like holding on too much to things. It was like any decisions had to really be confirmed by me, you know, and all that stuff. And so that's where I kind of messed up the hiring. And that's where I lost a lot of really good people. Like there are two people that I always say are like my biggest regrets. It's like people who basically, because I didn't let them kind of
do their thing,
and I didn't trust them enough. Like they left, and I just really, I'm like, man, like if only those guys had stayed. So those are like two mistakes that I made around hiring.
They might be thinking they wish they stayed, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. And the firing bit, man, bro, I was so bad at firing people. It was like bad.
You don't know how this went.
Bad, bro, just bad. Like just bad. Like one of the things that I've deep is like when you're firing people, it's like more time everyone in the company knows that person's got a cut. They all know, but they're just like waiting for you to make the call. They're like, now. So are we gonna move now?
I still have my pay out there. He's slacking, she's slacking.
Like they all know. And the most annoying thing is that I see myself as quite like a not ruthless, but like a very kind of direct person. But I remember the first person that I fired, going up to it, I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to do it. All right, cool. Bro, my leg was shaking. Shaking.
His heart wasn't in it. You got flashbacks of man saying, you running out to that, yeah? He's looking for mics, like, mics. Tell them my heart's not in it.
Tell them I know about it. Yeah, so I like mad shaking and shit. I'm like, okay.
You call him into the office?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Morning, or was this
set the scene,
before
set the scene. Morning.
Okay,
Cool.
So the first, so the night before, this isn't a story that I've ever told actually. The night before, I'm like practicing what I'm going to say in the mirror. I'm like, okay, all right. So I don't think it's working out. So I don't think it's right. I'm like, so. You know,
The soul is important. That's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. I don't want to give them hope in my soul.
And then, you know, and like I'm like watching videos about how to fire someone, like proper in depth, yeah. And then obviously next day I go, hey, it's not working out. These are the reasons why. And he's like, okay, makes sense.
That was it. He was like, oh, this was light.
You put him out of misery. He's like, he couldn't wait to
Soundtrack, get in there. You're fired as well, man. Get the fuck out of here, man.
That got to taste real.
You're all fired.
Yeah, man. Bag and go, man.
But no, that was Sandra.
You have to go tell him to go get Sandra. Go get Sandra for me, please. Get her in my office.
Yeah, I mean, bro, like, but the thing is, that actually doesn't ever change. Like, even during COVID or after COVID, we had a senior member of team who I had to let go because, well, yeah. And basically, I was still somewhere about it. And it was obvious. Everyone knew. And by the time we were, whatever, like 70 people, like, I've built a company, I've built a culture, people know it, right? And I was still so kind of like iffy about it that I did something which, to this day, I just like, what the heck were you doing? So it's a video call, yeah? So
Find them over video.
so, yeah,
COVID.
Yeah.
Was it 2020?
This was 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, you chose to do that.
Nah.
You could have met in person.
That's still if he did that. Work from home is in place now.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Depends when about 2021.
And
Cool.
so what I did was, this is actually so bad. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, okay, cool. And what I do is that I open a separate tab.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at the tab, not at him.
Right.
So I've got a different tab I'm looking at. It's like Google homepage search.
You can't look at him.
Because I can't look at him. So he thinks that I'm looking at him.
But really,
I'm
truly-
just looking at like how to buy furniture or something like that. And I'm just like, yeah, so I don't think it's working out. And then at the end he says, okay, fine. And then once you say, okay, fine, that is the first time that I then go back to that tab and actually look at him.
Yeah.
Because like, I was still just like very anxious. And it's such a weird thing. Like letting people go is always really, it's just always like really shit, man. But you just gotta do it. You know what I mean?
100%. That's whether like business, love, relationships.
Everything.
Like it's always tough having to let go of people, but it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to move forward. And
especially if you want to move forward.
it's your business as well.
What were some of the company perks at Fanbites?
Yeah.
Oh, we did like cool stuff, man. So one of the things that I kind of in the second or third year, I basically was like, well, you know, we raised money from investors. So we raised about 2 million from investors, but that still was not enough to like be paying people top, right? So one thing I said was, all right, maybe we can't compete on salary, but we can compete on vibes.
I was gonna say vibes.
Yeah, vibes. So things
vibes.
like, you know,
Solely
like
vibes.
things that go in act storing, things like, you know, I would make a very big deal out of just like little things, right? So a perk was, like there's so many, there's like beers, there was all that stuff. But for me, it was more about like celebrating little things.
Did you work 4 or 5 days a week?
Oh, 5. Come on, man. We don't do that 4-day a week shit.
Come on, man. 4-day week is the one, man.
You got to implement.
Listen,
Actually, you're not there
the next
no more.
one you start,
You
4-day
implement.
week,
Maybe
man.
even 3. You can pay people 20K if you want. Yeah,
Next
3
one I
days.
start would definitely be 5 days.
So crack the whip.
But you know, we had that, you know, making a big deal out of things. That was a very conscious decision. I was like, do you know what? Like, I know, you know, there were 21-year-olds, 25-years. I was like, I know this is not a long-term job for you, right? And in fact, I would tell people, I'd be like, yo, I don't expect you to be here for longer than like 5 years. If you're here for that long, you've just stagnated.
Yeah.
So
Because that's not Gen Z at all.
it's just not, right?
You don't
I was
stick
like,
around.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, come through, give us everything you can. We'll give you everything we can. Shake hands, love, see you there. So many people have left and they've been like, thank you for such a great experience.
Yeah.
Rather than this kind of like, oh, no, fuck that guy for leaving us. Oh,
Yeah.
it's wherever in it.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
What about your co-founders? So how many co-founders were there?
So I had a co-founder, Ambrose, and then I had a CTO, Mitchell, who we then made also a co-founder. He did like the technical stuff. And Ambrose was my COO ops. He basically just like made the machine run. And I would like invent the machine, then he'd make the machine run, basically. So that was a very good tag team. Very good tag team.
What exactly was Fanbytes?
Very simply, like Fanbytes. So the headline was we built software and services to help brands to run influencer campaigns. Right?
Yeah, I still don't get that.
So basically, brands will come to us and they say, we want to reach a Gen Z audience. And then what we do is we'd find influencers on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. We'd come up with what the creative strategy would be, etc. And then we'd run the campaign. The difference was that we used a lot of tech to do that. So we had our own platform where brands will activate their campaigns, approve influencers, approve data, and all that stuff. But it was very much like a tech-enabled agency.
So did you own the intellectual property as well?
Yeah.
And is that something that you now sell?
No, I mean, that was sold in the acquisition. So
Right.
That was also a very intentional thing. Like working backwards, I was like, well, when we come to sell this business, we can either be valued on a multiple of profit or a multiple of revenue, right? If you're more of a techie business, you get valued on a multiple of revenue.
Yeah.
If you don't have any tech and you're just kind of like selling your time, etc., you get valued on a multiple of profit. And I knew going in, I was like, okay, this business should be valued on a multiple of revenue. So how can we introduce such much like tech into the whole thing?
Who taught you that?
I just read it in books.
What
books?
Several books. I mean, Built to Sell. That's a very good book.
Okay.
For our listeners, man.
Yeah.
Plug
them in, man.
I mean, Built to Sell is a great book about it, about just like how to build something of value and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the whole game of working backwards and all that.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Could you read Tapping thing one more time, please? Just so people get that message.
Yeah, 100%. So Tapping are doing doing huge research, which is the largest UK-wide research into Black Gen Z's view on the world of work. So we're going to be looking into, how you see yourself, how you identify your experiences in the workplace, even down to like how you view, I even saw skin tone, like how you identify your skin tone as well. And they want to get all that data in terms of how these people feel, how people have been treated. So again, the link is in the description. There's this, what's it called? QR code. We've got this QR code as well. Scan that, go there and do this questionnaire, which is about 10 minutes long, but very quick. We want to collect that data. Remember, there's 5 winners out of a prize draw, picked at random. The 4 winners will get career mentoring, and 1 lucky winner will get an iPad with the stylus as well as the career mentoring as well. So make sure you go check that out, sign up, click those links, please.
Yeah, just to add on to that quickly, the reason is important as well is because this is how we're trying to change how workplaces treat us.
100%.
So if you're upset with the way you're treated in the workplace, you feel like the Black experience, essentially.
Yeah.
You can fill out this and help us understand what are your gripes with the workplaces, and then they can take that information, take it to these companies and present it like, this is where you lot are going wrong. Can you try and fix this, or can you fix this? This needs to be fixed if you're trying to get people to stay.
Yeah. And there's a community they're making as well. I was speaking to Tiana as well, saying that if you fill out this survey, you're part of the community, and they're going to be having certain opportunities with some of the sponsors of the survey as well. So loads of opportunity there to definitely be a part of, for sure. Any age as well, just do it.
Cool. So before we get into the final part of the show, which is where we have a trivia segment, we asked you some questions. How did the acquisition come about?
Yeah. Was it like an email like last time?
No. Whoa. No.
Send over your analytics, please, mate.
This one had a few more zeros, so you can't really do that over email like that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go in depth on this because I don't think there's a lot of people who talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So we can go in depth. So so in October 2021, I started to notice. Actually, no. Come on, step back. Cool. So, in business, basically, like for any industry, what tends to happen is you will have a period where a new wave will come up, like a new technology will come up. And what will happen is it will be by itself. And then after a period, let's say 5 to 8 years, there will be a period of consolidation, right? So what I mean by that is, for example, let's take podcasting, right? There was the moment when it was like podcasting was like completely brand new and it was just growing, right? Right now, it's still growing and growing, but it's not like completely brand new. At some point, which probably in the next 2 years, there's going to be consolidation where basically the big guys like the Spotifys, the Deezers, the Stitchers and all those guys, they will then start to basically like buy up all the different podcasting companies. You can actually see this in with Spotify bought Anchor.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, that's what happened, right? Like Anchor, Gimlet started off independent, and then Spotify were like, all right, let's time to roll it all up. Happens in every industry, right? So when I thought about the idea of Fanbytes, I was like, okay, this influencer thing is going to be independent. And then at some point, there's going to be consolidation because I've seen it happen in TV. I've seen it happen in radio. I've seen it happen in PR. You start off with just like companies that only do TV. And then they then get bought by like WPP because WPP want to have like radio, TV, search,
digital,
Google. They want it all out there, right? And that is just like a game of market. So, for example, this is like a complete separate point, and then I'll come back to this point. So, for example, if someone was looking at starting a business now, a very good way would be like, okay, are we in consolidation or are we in like inception, right? So, for example, right now, everyone talking about AI and all that stuff, right? Like, if you picked a very good sector, you could be like, okay, we're now at the inception of it. In 4 or 5 years, there's going to be consolidation. And all you have to do is basically like stay in the game enough to be somebody who can then get bought, right? So how does this link to Fanbytes? So I was like, all right, cool. Influencers, because remember, we started off in like 2017 when like people were writing articles about Zoella and KSI and being like, oh, these weird kids are doing this thing, right? So like people didn't understand it, right? And so at some point there was going to be some kind of consolidation. So we grew. As I mentioned, like 75 people, business was doing great, blah, blah. And then in October 2021, we basically got approached by 3 different companies. 2 of them were like private equity companies. 3 different companies in 6 weeks. And I was like, I have never, ever experienced that before. That in 6 weeks, 3 different companies, you'd be like, hey, our Fanbytes thinking about, getting to the next level. That's a phrase that they always use. Get into the next level. Or strategic partnerships. Like, all right. So you sent your head of M&A to talk about getting to the next level. Right, for real.
Mergers and acquisitions.
It's like, at least try and like style it out a bit, Just
just email, say, how much do you want for this?
But what I then kind of was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I thought about it and I said, oh, okay, this is now consolidation period. I was just like, okay, the next 18 months are going to be consolidation period. And so after those 3, I kind of was like, okay, this is interesting. None of them were going to be right. So then I said, right, we're now going to appoint a bank. And what a bank is going to do is the bank. So in business, there are these like very specialist banks whose sole focus is to buy and sell companies.
Right.
So it's not like Goldman or JP. It's like, so we use a bank called Psy Partners, and all they do is basically buy and sell companies in like the tech, media, and creative space.
Right.
So what I ended up doing was I ended up engaging with 2 of them, and then I basically was like, all right, who basically wants the deal? And then I vibed a lot with side partners. I got my co-founders as well, and they were like, yeah, side partners are great. And so how it works is pretty straightforward. They put together like a 10 slide thing, which says like, well, no. Firstly, they put together a teaser document, and that teaser doesn't have your name on it. It just says like this company is doing this thing, and then they typically send it out to some people, right? The thing is, they knew Fanbytes would be a very hot deal. And so rather than sending it out to everyone, they only sent it out to 6 companies. And they got in, like, me and the team would sit down and we'd be like, okay, these 6, how about this? How about that? We're like, no, let's go for these. So they sent out to 6 companies. Those 6 companies say that they're interested, and actually all 6 say that they're interested. And then what then happens is that you meet the 6 and then you do like a presentation. So I was doing presentations. I went to Portugal for one of them, and I was doing the presentation on Zoom. Actually, funny enough, right after a presentation I did to one of them, that was the time that I fired the guy over Zoom.
He didn't even say, we're selling this to you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's not even going to be my problem anymore.
So, so we do that presentation, that's all good, and then we meet them, get to know them a bit more. And then after that is what happens is they then submit something called a letter of intent. And that is where they actually say, we intend to buy you guys if all these things are correct. Because by that time, you haven't shown them your financials or anything. Like you've told them top line, but like proper.
Yeah, they're going to start doing deep dives.
Deep.
Like we're getting into bed now.
Exactly. So then that kicked off in January, because in December I was in Ghana. And I was trying to do these calls in Ghana.
That's in December. He was living life.
Which is actually such a crazy thing, like being in Ghana and like trying to talk to your kind of bankers about the deal and just being like, oh my God, in like 4 months, like
I'm gone.
Like this is so mad. So we had the 3 letters of 3 letters of intent. And then we just picked the one that we thought made sense. We then go into due diligence, which is like 10 weeks where they proper like
deep dive into
forensics. It is like, all right, in 2018, what happened with this? Like, why is the margin this low? Or something like that. And you're like, oh, I don't know.
You're like, bro, we play rock, paper, scissors to make decisions. I don't know.
Because,
can you say I don't know? Like, can you ever be a point where you're like, I don't know, bro. It was years ago.
But like for things that happened years ago. But if it's like 2 months ago, this happened and you're like, I don't know. You're like, that is a fraud. So basically that is basically what happens. So first things first, you appoint a bank. The bank then sets up a road show. We engage with 6 people. Of those 6 people, 4 of them put in letters of intent. And then off the back of that, we then pick the right one that we thought would make sense. And then we go into due diligence. And then from due diligence, everything is all done. And then at the end, you sign what is called like a share purchase agreement. And that share purchase agreement is like, there are basically 2 moments in any deal that are like, I cannot believe this is happening. Number one is the share purchase agreement, because that is like the definitive thing to sign. And like all your shareholders,
you're signing shit over to them.
And there's like 2 very funny stories about this one. So the first one is, obviously, a share purchase agreement means all shareholders have to sign, including our investors, right? So I'm trying to get our investors to sign. Like, bear in mind, some of these guys are going to make like $500,000 from like a 15 grand investment, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if it was me, I'd be like,
sign.
I'm done, right?
Yeah.
I'm sending this to one of them, and he's like, I will sign it. I'm just out to dinner right now. I'm like, bro, the clock's ticking, right? Clock's ticking. Sign the thing. And then so we have a deadline of Friday, and our lawyers are like, okay, we can't go ahead until all other shareholders have signed it. That's not to say that the deal would not have happened. It's just that it would not have happened on that Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, hey, can you sign it? Yeah, we're doing dinner. Okay, cool. All right. Can you then... He says that a person who's meant to be his witness is not around, so he'd have to sign it for next week. I'm like, we don't have this time. We don't have this time.
I understand.
So
where is your witness, bro?
I'm like, got my mum's house already. Like, you sign it.
He said, someone call Max, please. Someone call Max.
So I'm like emailing this brother. I'm like emailing, and then somehow I get the phone number of his PA. And I call him like, hey, it's like Tim around. By the way, like, so his name's also Tim. And I'm like, hey, is Tim around? He's like, yeah, he's out dinner, etc. I said, can I get his number? I get his number. It's now like 11:30 p.m., right? And
on what, on like a Thursday or something?
Friday.
On a Friday. Okay.
On the day.
Oh my God.
Shit. On the day.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
this is clutch.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Transfer deadline day, man.
Call Tim. I'm like, Tim, we're like, hey, what's happened with document? He said, well, you know, all my, you know, my witness is gone and etc. And I said, all right, Tim, hey, who are you at home with? He said, oh, it's just my wife. You know, just my wife, right? And then I'm like, and then
he wasn't doing when he gave you that investment the first time.
No, it.
Now it's Sign that shit.
No, right. And then I remember just like sitting there. It's like 11:30. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm like, Tim, you have to wake up your wife right now. And then he's like, there's this silence for like 5 seconds. And I can tell in his head, he's probably thinking, this fucking nigga telling me to I'm doing this shit, right?
I gave you 15 grand last time.
And then he's like, yeah, but is that even legal? Because basically, like, generally, you don't want your witness to be your partner because it's just a bit, you know.
Conflict of interest.
And then he's like, okay, yeah, maybe. And then he said, is it legal? And I said, hang on a sec. Cool. I cut off. I call our lawyer. I'm like, Karen, Tim can only get his wife to sign. Is it possible? He said, well, technically, okay, cool, boom. But then I call back Tim. Yes, it's possible.
There's a loophole there.
And then Tim signs. And then the final one is me and my co-founders. We get on Zoom. So Ambrose is in Mexico with his girl. Mitch is at home with his girl. And I'm at home with my girl. And basically, we get on Zoom, and I've got this like speech in my mind where I'm like guys, I'm so fucking thankful for this. Bro, my brain's tapped. I'm gone. My brain's gone. So Mitch signs the thing, and then he gets a witness. Ambrose signs the thing. But what's cool is we have this video recording of the whole Zoom.
Yeah.
And then I sign it. Boom, done. And then all we get is this like Gmail thing which says like all parties have signed.
Oh.
And I'm just like, so that's it. Like that document has just made all three of us like multi-millionaires. I was like, oh my God. So that's a crazy thing. And then the second story actually that I'll tell you is actually the day that the funds landed. The day that the funds landed is the day that we actually announced it to everyone. Because even though we'd signed and everything, the money still hadn't come to us.
Yeah.
Because how it works is, it's quite weird. Basically, because the company who bought us are backed by private equity have to get the money from their bank.
Yeah.
Then that private equity had to send it to the company. And then that company then sends it to our lawyers, and then our lawyers then distribute them, right? So even on the day, the 3rd of May, that we announced Fanbytes has been acquired and everyone was saying congrats. There's no P's, bro. There's no P's. I'm like, what's going on? And then we just are walking around the office. We're like walking around.
Yeah, because I saw the video. You're not actually outside walking.
Just walking around.
You look like you was walking somewhere, but now I know that you're actually walking
aimless, bro. Aimless. Just circling the block. That's what we're doing, right? Circling. And then this is a crazy one. So Ambrose was on Lloyd's. Mitch was on Lloyd's, and I just had like a Santander account. I actually opened up a Santander account purposely for that, right?
Yeah.
Right. and we're like going around. We're like, where's this piece? Where's this piece? Yeah.
Everyone's just swiping down update.
Everyone's swiping around. It's still showing 0.0.
Yeah, right.
No. Yeah, exactly.
So I know where this comes.
New account because I didn't want to tamper with anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to go from 0 to not 0. So we're going, and then Ambrose then like does a boom, and then he goes, why? Whoa! Like it's finally dropped, yeah. And then Mitch as well, boom. He's like, fucking hell, fucking hell, yeah. And then I'm like, all right, here you go, boom. Sorry, 0 still because their bank, Lloyd's, they get theirs first, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And bro, for 30 seconds. I'm thinking I gave the wrong account number.
Yeah, it's a new account as well.
I'm thinking someone else is eating.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I'm thinking they are eating like no man's business. I'm like, nah. And then I'm like proper checking. 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm like proper. And then I do it, boom. And then just poof. And then I just like, there's a video I have of me on my phone where I'm like shouting. Like, that's all I'm doing. I'm just like shouting. I'm like, oh my God. And then there's this pub next to us. And the pub people don't know why we're shouting. But they're like, wait. Everyone's just gassed. It was like, wait.
So we're going action.
I'll buy every single one.
I'm like, because literally someone said, oh no, buy us a drink. I was like, mate, I'll buy the pub. I'll buy everything. I'll buy everything for everyone, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's the story of like the acquisition. Those are like the two moments that are very much like stuck in my mind where it's just like
amazing.
The whole thing was just mental.
What area are you living in now?
I actually still live in South.
Right.
Yeah. No, Oaken Road. I moved out of Oaken Road 2 years ago.
Right.
But
That's still south.
That's still very recent though.
but I
That
still
could
love
be
South though.
No, it can't be Canary Wharf. That's east, isn't it?
It's East
I mean,
Central.
there's some nice areas in South.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where?
Chelsea's
Shoot.
in South.
Shoot, even Dulwich, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
Dulwich
certain
is
areas-
nice.
I live in Dulwich.
Man said Chelsea. Nah, is he mad?
Oh no, he's
No,
middle
that's
class
west,
now.
that's southwest, man. That's southwest. Before
Wait,
we,
sorry, quick one. Did you say 3rd of May,
3rd of May,
2022?
yeah.
That's the day I proposed.
Oh,
wow.
That's
right,
mad.
see, 2 good things happen on that day.
Imagine. I know who I
wish
was
I
going to
got-
be though. Someone got a ring, someone got a couple M's. I know which side of history I want to be on, but big congratulations, by the way.
big congrats, man.
Huge
Yeah.
congratulations.
sold for
Wonderful story.
tens of millions.
Yeah.
Tens. Okay, so now it's a chance to get on this leaderboard.
Yeah.
We got some trivia questions for you, random questions. You got a couple lifelines. You can phone a partner if you're stuck in a question. They can't use Google. You can't use Google. You can't use any internet.
Yeah.
You got one multiple choice option. So if you're stuck, you ask for multiple choice. We'll read you some answers and hopefully you pick the right one. You got Ask a 90s Baby. So if I ask you the question, you're stuck, you can ask one of the guys for help. You can skip. If you skip, you don't lose a point. But for every question you get wrong, you lose a point.
All right. And what? How many questions are there in total?
10.
All right, cool.
The final question is worth 10 marks.
All right.
So we'll all ask you 3 and then you choose who asks you the 10.
All right, so just before, who's got the best out of this? Like ever?
I still don't. I think
It's B, Simone and Meg.
I think somebody beat them just recently.
You did the leaderboard.
Yeah, no, I haven't done the episode yet. Who did we have just before?
Nah, I don't think Big Zoo did well.
Did he not?
I don't think.
Okay, maybe not. But
Maybe
yeah,
not.
be Simone
Alright,
and
cool.
Meg.
All right then. First question: how much is a first class stamp?
What?
How much
Today.
is a first class stamp?
I know.
You got lifelines. You got multiple choice.
Yeah.
Skip, ask a 90s baby, or phone a partner.
So I got skip, multiple choice, or phone a partner.
Or ask one of us.
Or ask one of you guys. I don't feel like you guys would know.
We don't know his.
I know.
But yeah.
I'm gonna say £1.65.
Sorry, it's 95p.
Whoa.
Inflation ain't that high yet.
Thank
All right.
God.
Who invented the first social media site, 6 Degrees?
Oh.
Surely you got his number, Tim.
Can I have multiple choice?
Sure. Steve Jobs.
I think I know it. Is it like Phil something?
No.
All right, go on.
Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
Andrew Weinreich.
Yeah.
What's funny?
Yeah.
There you go.
Or
He's done a me. He's done a VP.
When he said Steve Jobs, I said he's finished. He's done at it.
or
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
He's done himself.
Yeah. I mean, it's Andrew.
Yes.
He made it so obvious.
When he said Steve Jobs, I said,
I didn't think he did it with me.
Phil Jackson.
All right, next one. What was the most in 2022? What was the most popular search keyword in Google?
In 2022.
I gotta ask. In 2022, what was in 2022?
What was the most popular keyword searched in Google?
Wait, so I got phone a friend, or I got ask the man them, basically.
Or you could skip.
Phone a friend, ask the man them, or skip.
Yeah.
I feel like none of us would know this. So I feel like it may be a thing where I skip this and I use ask the man them for the next one. Cool. So wait. Is it Wordle? Wordle.
It was on the list, but it wasn't there. It was not number one. Well, that sounds like a guess. So that's minus a point. And the answer is Facebook.
Facebook was the most Googled.
Makes sense. There's a lot of
people
news
trying
around
to
them.
go to the site. Obviously, you just type Facebook. These days, you don't put .com no more, innit?
Just go. You go on Google to go on your website.
Yeah.
Interesting. What does EBITDA stand for?
Oh. All right. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and appreciation.
When you say something like that, can you just confirm?
I mean, come on, like
Can you
EBIT is something that we all just say is EBIT.
I hear you, but that's not what I'm asking you, Tim. I'm asking you.
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Well done.
There you
Nice.
go.
Well
There you
done.
go.
Amortization.
Yeah,
I've
amortization.
never even heard of
Never
that
heard of that. That's why we're not the millionaires. Right. How much did Facebook buy WhatsApp for?
19 billion, wasn't it?
Incorrect.
Wait.
22 billion.
Damn.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Add-ons.
Check Google for that.
Steve.
You're dumb.
Steve. But yeah, that's what Google said. Google said 22 billion. Right. What year did Steve Jobs die?
I do not know this. So wait, there's ask the man them, there is phone a friend, and then a skip.
Yeah. The friend has to be of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, and she can't use Google?
No. Otherwise, we'll just allow you to use Google. I'm sure her Google is the same as yours.
She wouldn't know this. She would not know this. She would have known the Facebook one though. Fuck. Steve Jobs, I believe, he did the Stanford speech in 2005 or something. I think he died shortly afterwards. I don't know. Yeah, you guys are.
It's a guessing game.
It's a guessing game. I'm gonna go 2009.
Close.
What is it?
2011. God damn.
Damn.
Bro, man, I should have skipped that.
Oh yeah, that's true. You still had your skip because you didn't skip that one.
Well, we've
Damn.
got 3 more questions over here, hopefully.
I'm flopping.
Yeah, this is bad.
Nah,
This
but
is
mine
bad.
not easy. Okay. In chess, what piece can only move diagonally?
I'm gonna call someone.
Go on then.
You don't know this one?
I don't play chess. Wait, no. All right, you know what? I'm gonna ask the man them, Fred. Go on.
Then The Night.
He shagged you.
Oh, he
Is it not
shagged
The Night?
He shagged you.
Who is it?
It's the Bishop.
Oh, The Night and Bishop.
No, bro.
shagged him.
No, bro. It's the Bishop.
So what's The Night?
The Night moves like L shape.
That's the horse.
Yeah, that's the Night.
Nah,
Man said the
man.
horse. The horse and the Night are the same people, bruv.
You're having a shocker.
What? Give him the helmet?
Impossible. You know we don't
it's
do that
trivia.
during this
Why
section.
though? But he's messed up quite a lot there.
Nah, it's the trivia game. You don't know the answer. You don't know the answer. Okay, cool.
Lucky there. That's a big mess up.
That's crazy.
Big
You
one.
shagged. All right, question 2.
Oh, man, I flopped this. I flopped this. Like, I'm so pissed at that.
I thought that was an easy question. That's why it was my question 1. Okay, question 2. What is I couldn't speak there.
Hella.
What is HSBC an abbreviation of?
Goddamn 47. No idea.
I got a.
Does he still have a skip?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
still
you
has
do
a skip
still
and
have
still
a
has
skip.
found a partner.
I gotta skip that one. Wait,
Okay.
flip, man. All right, skip it.
Skip. Okay, it's the
You should have
Hong
hit a
Kong
rich
and Shanghai
flex. Should have
Banking
called the head of
Corporation.
banking at HSBC.
Yeah.
Should have called them.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hong Kong and
man.
Shanghai
All right.
Banking Corporation.
All right, live.
Okay.
Never knew that.
Question 3. What financial service company is the largest issuer of credit cards in the US? Not a bank.
Yeah. It's either Visa or MasterCard, isn't it?
In the US.
Yeah, in the US. So I've got skip, but I've done already.
You've done that. So now you
So-
just got to call a friend if you...
I got to phone a friend.
Or you could save the phone a friend for the 10-point question.
Yeah. I think I'll say for the temperature. It's either Visa or MasterCard. Visa.
Correct.
yeah. I'm gonna say Visa's like 100% the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
But-
I would have said Amex.
What's her name to me?
no.
Wow. Yeah.
Never asked me.
Oh, man.
On the name, they changed my bank card to MasterCard, but I didn't see that they were doing that. But I was thinking, why did they do that, fam? Like, it was a Visa, and then it just stopped working one day, and I was like, what's going on, fam?
yeah.
I said, yeah.
Right then. Cool. 10-mark question. You get to pick who asks you. My category is music.
Okay. And then?
My category is Gen Z.
Okay.
My category is books, children's books.
Oh, okay. It's definitely not children's books. And it's music. I'm gonna go with Gen Z.
Okay. What are the years?
Oh wait, actually, I just deeped. If I'm doing phone a friend, the person I'm phoning is a
don't
children's
have
books
to.
person. Like they would know about this bag. All right, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go children's books.
Okay.
That was smart.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Wow.
children's books.
Okay.
He's
Get
got the phone
get that
ready.
number ready, yeah. Okay. Which author wrote the Winnie the Pooh books?
Oh, Radal.
Jesus Christ. He's killed himself. There was no need for you to do that. In fact, now you're wrong. You've missed your points.
Wait, who is it?
But now, call your friend.
Hang on.
Now call your friend and ask them. Loudspeaker, please.
Wait.
Can you put them on loudspeaker?
cut that,
We're not
cut
cutting
that.
it.
Cut that.
Easy, said right down.
Lucy.
Please, can we have loudspeaker?
Can we have loudspeaker, please?
Hang on. I'm gonna put you on loudspeaker, and I need you to answer this question. I flopped that bad.
Yes.
All right, go on, say it.
Okay. Which author wrote the Winnie the Pooh books? That's it.
Oh, you rushed. You rushed.
I knew this.
You rushed.
Wait.
He rushed. He rushed.
Can you
it.
cut out?
No.
you cut out
Impossible.
No.
Impossible.
Wow, and you
Impossible.
actually saved it for the
I
best
know,
time and
Like,
didn't
and
use
that
it.
was 10 points right there. And- but you know what's funny? That was your ego.
Yeah.
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 Because you was like, I know this.
Yeah.
Instead of you
But
to be
you
like, I'm
had
going to
it so-
double check.
Because you could have confirmed, raw. Hold on,
everything else you took time on.
Yeah, and you rushed the 10
The thing is, I don't know about children because remember that I grew up in Ghana, you know. So
No.
I flopped it.
Yeah, you did.
That's why you had the call. Oh man, we've had some shockers of recent. Don't worry, you're not the only one that has
that was fun,
performed bad. But I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah.
Participation that counts. Yeah. To round up, links are all in the description for anything that you need to be checking up on, especially Tap In. Shout out to our sponsors. Get involved in that questionnaire. Get that done, and it's 10 minutes. Make sure you click the link in the description for that and do that. Is there anything else for us to plug?
Nah, everything's sprinkled in the description box. Remember, live show April 9.
Yes.
Live raffle to a trip to Greece. Buy a ticket.
That's nice.
All right. Other than that, you know the theory, bro?
Nice, baby's crazy.
Cool. All right. You made it to the end of the video. I know you enjoyed this content. If you want to become a member, go and click the link in the description. Exclusive content, new content, even early release and tickets on discount. Check it out. Become a member.